guys, welcome back to Calico Cow Acres. It is garlic planting day today and I'm going to take you guys along on that process. I film garlic planting every year because it's one of those like milestone things that we plant that kind of signals the end of this current year's gardening season and also simultaneously the start of next year's gardening season. And so it's just one of those things that I like to look back on. And I also like to document which varieties I grow each year because sometimes they're different than the previous year, as well as the amount that we're gonna grow so that I have a visual and documented form of information for me to look back on and double check my notes, and it just helps in consecutive years to be able to look back on things like this. So last weekend I got a whole bunch of weeds pulled out of these beds. I kind of raked them up a little bit and got them sort of prepped for planting. And today we're actually going to start the process of planting and hopefully finish the process of planting. But it's just me here right now. Taylor is off on an adventure a couple hours away picking up a marketplace find. So it's just me. I'm gonna get as far as I can. Last weekend while Taylor was working on putting floors in, I got the rake, the hoe, and my friend Marmalade out here and we tore everything out that we possibly could. I'm sure there's still little bits and pieces of weeds because we have such bad Bermuda grass here. It's literally everywhere, but it's good enough to plant in and we're gonna mulch it really well this year. We picked up straw a couple months ago and we got extra so we could use it on the garden. So we can mulch everything really well, and yeah, I'm excited to see how garlic goes this year. Since we are in Zone 8A, it was 7B, so I kind of go in the in-between of both of those. We are in like a intermediate climate where both hardneck and softneck garlic grow. Softneck varieties typically store longer in your pantry, and hardneck varieties give you garlic scapes. And I personally think hardneck varieties are easier to peel and open up. So I like to grow both because why not have the best of both worlds? We can have hardneck that we use up sooner and we get the scapes from, and I can make garlic scape pesto, which is like my favorite thing. And then we have the softneck to get us through the late winter, early spring before we harvest our next crop. I didn't purchase nearly as much as I have in previous years because we have our stored seed from the stuff we harvested earlier this summer. But I'm gonna start planting the stuff I bought and then we'll see how far we get with that, and I might bring out some other varieties that we saved and get those in the ground too. And if I do that, I will go through those when we bring them out here. But I'm gonna start with softneck. I got Polish softneck this year, just plain Polish softneck. I'll take one out and show you. These are massive, beautiful bulbs of garlic, and the cloves themselves are huge. And then I got an Italian softneck variety. The softnecks are really layered and you can see they kind of like pile up on each other. So you get a lot of cloves from the softneck varieties. And then for hardneck, I got Bavarian purple. They have a purplish tint to them. They're really pretty. And with hardneck, I don't know how well you can see. There's this is where the scape comes out of. It's the stem of the plant that like the flower will come out of, which is the scape. So these kind of are like one layer of cloves around that hard stem. The softnecks don't have that. And then the last variety we got is Italian Mountain Red hardneck. Some of these are actually broken up a little bit more. So big cloves. This is one that's kind of broken apart already. They look just like the garlic cloves from the store, but they're really big because they're saved seed. Another variety that I got that's not necessarily, it's not actually like full-on garlic. It's part of a similar family. It's more like an onion, but the flavor is like a combination onion garlic situation. And that is elephant garlic. And these things are massive. I got one bulb of this and you can see like this is 2 cloves. One of these cloves is the size of the entire other bulb. So elephant, appropriately named, and they're massive. I think I'm gonna try planting some of those in the hugelkultur mound and kind of try and turn them into like more of a perennial situation so I don't have to replant them every year. And then I could sort of like propagate them into other hugel mounds and fruit tree guilds once we get those going. So these are all of the varieties that I purchased this year. I specifically got them from a local seed company this year, and they source a lot of their seed from local farmers and just people in this area. Most seeds, but especially garlic, they really adapt to their environment when you're saving them year after year, and I really wanted to get something local this year that's going to do well in my climate. A lot of seed companies that sell garlic that I personally know of and have used in the past are more northern growers, and that made sense before because I was in Michigan. Now we're down in the south, we're in the southeast, we're in North Carolina, and the climate's just a lot different here. We don't get piles and piles of snow. We don't get the cold hours, so it's just a lot different here, and I really wanted seed that's adapted to our climate. I also saved seed from last year, from our harvest this year. That garlic seed should already be pretty well adapted or on its way to being adapted to our specific soil conditions here as well as our climate, which is really exciting. Let's plant some of these. We're going to start with our two hardneck varieties, Bavarian Purple and Italian Mountain Red. I think I'm going to start with the Italian Mountain Red because it's already broken up a little bit. If you watch garlic planting videos, everyone's going to tell you how far to space them apart differently. I think ideally like 6 inches is great, but this bed is like 3 to 4 feet wide, and I just did 4 rows because I have plenty of space. I might as well give them extra space, and fitting 4 rows in here is what works best with the hoe that I'm using. So as simple as that. They're about 6 inches to a foot apart, and that's probably more than they need, but I'm sure they're not going to complain about it. Hey Bruce! Okay, if you have never planted garlic before, it's super easy, especially because they're such big seeds. You just kind of break them apart, and you want to keep as much paper on them as you possibly can. You want to pick out any seeds that might be bad and set them off to the side. You don't want to plant those. But then you just kind of pull them apart like you would when you're trying to cook them. Just try and keep as much skin on them as possible, because that's what kind of protects them over the winter when the temperatures get really cold. So this is the pile of Italian Mountain Red. Just gonna grab a handful of these. The pointy part that was at the top is gonna go up, and then this part that was at the base of it with the little scabbed bottom where the roots were, that's gonna go bottom. So you're just gonna set it in there, kind of nestle it into the soil like that, and then we're gonna cover it up. But I'm gonna plant the rest of them, and I'm gonna try and space them about 6 inches apart to the side as well. Okay, it looks like I got 8 in this one row, so I should be able to get 32 into this whole section that I tilled up. Okay, so that section's fully planted. I have tons of compost that I've added to this bed in the past year, so I'm not gonna fertilize it at all right now. I will probably be watering it with duck pool water eventually because their poop is like the best fertilizer that you can get, and I have it anyway, so I might as well use it. But for now, I'm just gonna leave it like this. This is how I mark off the different sections of varieties. I just put a stick there. While I'm still planting, I'll leave these on the beds, just so I don't forget what's what. And then honestly, I just take a picture of the bed. I write on it on my phone which variety is where, and then I just know for the rest of the year, and then I don't have to worry about putting stakes in the ground or anything, and that's worked well for me, so that's what I'm gonna keep doing. I'm gonna move on to the next section, next hardneck variety, and keep going. Once I finish this hardneck variety, I'm gonna actually move to the other side and do softneck over there, so I don't have to sort of sift through the varieties to figure out which ones have the scapes and which don't. And I did that last year. That was a pain in the butt, so I'm not gonna mix them up this year. Hardneck on this side, softneck over there.
It's been a while since I left. Nobody knows where I went, but I think I found my place. Don't worry, I'm doing just fine out in the islands where the time goes a little more my pace. I've been floating coast to coast, Bahamas to Puerto Rico. It don't matter if I'm lost, because I know when I'm with you, I'm home.
Alright, all of the softneck that we purchased this year is planted. The last thing I've got out here is elephant garlic. And I think for now, instead of putting it in the hugelkultur bed, which isn't prepared, I'm going to just pop it in the ground over here. And if I need to transplant it over to the hugel mound later, I can. But for now, this dirt's way better and a lot more prepared than the hugelkultur bed. Okay, so all of this is mulched now. I stole some of the duck bedding because we're replacing it right now anyway. Did a nice medium layer so that it holds the moisture, holds the soil in place. I didn't do it so thick that they wouldn't be able to pop through. So kind of like potatoes, I am mulching them kind of medium thin, letting them sprout and pop through. And once they're a couple inches tall, I'll add more on top, and hopefully that doesn't inhibit their growth. I'm doing that partially because I don't want to break open another bale of straw right now, and partially because I know that come late December, we always get lots and lots of rain. And I don't want them to be just like absolutely saturated. I'm trying to mitigate that whole situation because that was definitely a factor of our crop not doing amazing this year. So we're gonna experiment with some different things and try and fix that a little bit. So like I said, I'm gonna take a picture of this, and I like to get the trellis in there so I can count exactly how many T-posts are in it and the cattle panels. That kind of gives me an idea of how far these varieties go over. The sun this time of year is so difficult to manage with filming and taking photos. So I obviously don't want to leave these plastic bags out here, but I do want to remember which ones were where. What I'm gonna do is open Instagram. Hello, hi. We'll choose a picture, rotate it so we can see it a little bit better and our text can be a little bit bigger. And then I'm gonna rotate it again. I will type Italian mountain red. Rotate that. And I'm literally just gonna put it right there. And then the other one over here was Bavarian purple. B-A-V, Bavarian purple. There. And that's it. And then I'm just gonna actually like go in here and save this picture. Then that picture will be marked as the date that I saved it, so I know which day I planted these, and I can just look back and easily see this is what's planted here. So I'm gonna go do the other side really quick. I know that's not like the most organized way of keeping track, but that's just like the quickest way for me to do it right now. And if I want to keep track of it in a more organized way in our notebook, our homestead binder, I can do it later on, referring back to those photos. Because right now I don't want to do that because I'm out here in the garden with dirt all over me and I don't want to go inside and deal with the binder right now. It's really hard for me to believe that this is the third time I'm planting garlic on this property in this garden. How quickly the time has gone from that first time we were planting garlic here. The first time I planted garlic here, there was absolutely no garden beds. We had just mowed the grass that was almost as tall as me, and I was starting from actual scratch in this garden space. And seeing how much this space has changed over time, just the last 2 years, is absolutely wild. It's mind-blowing how much work and time and effort we've put into this garden space and how much food we've pulled out of it in 2 years. And it's exciting to see it just get better and better with time. I'm really excited for our third gardening season here. And I'm really, really grateful that I'm not starting these beds from scratch this year. Since I didn't fill up the full bed, I did end up checking which varieties I had of homegrown saved garlic from last year. I'm not gonna plant them today. I'll probably wait until later this week to plant them when I have another free evening. But I did want to tell you what varieties I'd be planting. I will be planting from that saved seed. So just really quick, I will be planting elephant garlic that I saved from last year, chestnut red, silver white, which I believe is the only soft neck I have from last year, Bohosky purple, and then a general Calico Cow Acres seed that I had saved from 2 years ago and regrew last year, and I just don't remember what the varieties were. I think it's a mixture, so we just call it our CCA mix. Alright guys, that was at least a big start to our garlic planting for the year, and I'm really glad that I have that initial input done. Finishing it off shouldn't take too much more effort. I'm not going to finish it today because we have to clean out the coops and the sun is setting quickly, so I want to get that done first. But later this week I'll plant the rest of it, and then we won't have to worry about garlic for quite some time. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. If you've never planted garlic before, I hope you go to the store or your local nursery or order some online and plant some yourself. It's not too late. You can still do it, and it is so worth it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.